take a look at some side effects of some serious diseases. First, we have a side effect of the measles, a side effect of the mumps, and a side effect of the meningococcal disease. Obviously, there are more side effects and more diseases, but those are just a few. And those are pretty scary, right? Well, luckily, I have good news for you. There is an easy and simple way to prevent getting a disease like this. Just get vaccinated. Many of you have probably heard of the flu vaccine or the chickenpox vaccine, and most likely many of you here have been vaccinated at some point. I want you to understand the importance of vaccinating yourself and your kids when or if you have them. I have taken 2 health classes this year and a parenting class where we have done research about vaccinating and its importance. Today, I'm going to tell you why you need to vaccinate your kids and yourself. I'm going to tell you the problems that come along with not vaccinating and some simple solutions that you can take to fix the problems. So, how many of you here have heard something and questioned its credibility? Thought that it was maybe a lie or wasn't being told completely true? Well, do you just believe it, or do you tell other people that lie, or do you do your own research? That's a big problem with vaccinations. People believe misconceptions and spread misconceptions when they don't do their own research. One of the big misconceptions is that autism is linked to vaccinations. A study by the CDC, who is the leading federal National Public Institute of the United States, in October of 2015, stated that there is no link between autism and vaccinations. They studied each ingredient and its effects. They studied each vaccine over and over again and still found no link. Another misconception is natural immunity, which is catching the disease naturally and getting sick. People believe that that causes stronger immunity to the disease. While this may be true in some cases, it can be quite dangerous. Let's say you decide to contract the measles to have natural immunity. Well, you face a 1 in 500 chance of death from symptoms. And with this misbelief, people believe that vaccines can infect the person with the disease that they're trying to prevent. And many people do have mild symptoms from getting vaccinated, but that doesn't mean that they are infected with the disease. Many people, it's just a natural body immune response. And the FDA, which is the Food and Drug Administration, has been making sure that vaccines have been safe for us for decades now. Another big misconception is that people don't need to vaccinate because infection rates in the US are extremely low. I mean, while this is true, it's because people have been vaccinating for decades now, and because of herd immunity. According to an article, Divided House passes bill to end most exemptions to school vaccine requirements by Scott Bissell on April 23, 2019, herd immunity protects unvaccinated people when the majority of the people are vaccinated. Now, obviously, herd immunity becomes a problem when people decide to stop vaccinating. And on top of that, international travel has become even more common. So even though the US has low infection rates, that doesn't mean other countries have low infection rates as well. So let's say you go to another country, contract the disease, and bring it back, you can infect people here in the US and cause a big outbreak. And many of you have probably heard of the recent measles outbreak that has happened this year. And according to an article in American News called "Baloney is Not Free" by Leonard Pitts Jr., this is the second worst disease reported since it was eliminated in the 2000s. See, in this picture, you can see that in 2014 alone, there were 667 cases of the measles reported. And as of April 19, 2019, just in 2019 alone, so far, we have had 626 cases of the measles outbreak from the big anti-vax movement that has become so popular. And obviously, you can see how much of a problem this is. And anytime we have a problem, we try to find a solution, right? Well, I'm going to tell you the solutions that you can personally do to fix the problem and prevent the problem from happening. A big solution is to understand the benefits. The biggest benefit is obviously immunity. That's the whole point of vaccinations. One shot can save your life. In the book, Cambridge Historical Dictionary of Disease, published June 2013 and written by Kenneth Kipple, smallpox is no longer an active infection. But in 430 BC, 30,000 people died from it in Athens, Greece. There was no cure. But now, with modern medicine, we have prevention. So if we have these preventive measures to take, why wouldn't we take them? Why wouldn't we take a simple shot to prevent someone from getting a disease that could potentially kill them, or many people? Also, we have the problem of the people who cannot vaccinate. People like the elderly, pregnant women, children, they can't vaccinate because of their weakened immune systems. And if you choose not to vaccinate, you can contract a disease, give it to them, and it could potentially kill them. So would you want to be the reason that someone contracts a disease that could kill them just because they can't do it? The biggest thing I want you to do is be knowledgeable. Many times we are scrolling through social media today and we read these news articles and think that they're true. Like, for instance, I was scrolling through Facebook one time and I saw this article that was talking about cancer being contagious. Now, how weird does that sound? And remember that autism linked to vaccinations I told you about earlier? According to Anti-Vaccination Crowd Chooses Misinformation Over Science by Joe Henderson, in April 17, 2019, the flawed study is what started the autism link. This man, Andrew Wakefield, claimed to do a study on autism linking to vaccinations, and he actually ended up making up his numbers, but he still reported those numbers that he made up. And a news article published the information that he had made up, and it struck fear into people. And he is really what started the anti-vax movement overall, because people were too scared to vaccinate their kids because of the fear of them getting autism. Overall, the biggest thing you can do is vaccinate. And today I hope you take this information that I told you and tell it to other people who choose not to vaccinate, because we can't force other people to vaccinate, but the biggest thing you can do is vaccinate yourself and your kids when or if you have them. So you need to do that. You need to vaccinate yourself and your kids when or if you have them. Today, I told you the problems of not vaccinating, and I told you the simple solutions that you can do to fix the problem. So let's take a look back at those images that we saw earlier. Why wouldn't you get a simple vaccine that could prevent yourself and someone else from contracting a disease with such side effects, such as death? Why wouldn't you take this simple solution of just getting vaccinated? So I want you to get vaccinated. I want you to tell others to get vaccinated. Spread the word and spread the awareness.